In the heart of Kansas City, behind the doors of an ordinary home, sat a man with a camera, a notepad, and a basement full of secrets. He didn't scream, he didn't stalk. He invited them in, young drifters, runaways, men who wouldn't be missed. Then, he broke them. Robert Berdella didn't just kill. He documented everything, every injury, every scream, every moment. Over years, he filled photo albums with suffering, and police would eventually find detailed torture logs, one of which simply read, "Eyes out, can't sit up more than 5 seconds." This is the forgotten horror of Robert Berdella, the butcher of Kansas City. Robert Andrew Berdella Jr. didn't look like a monster. Born in 1949 in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio, he grew up Catholic, quiet, and withdrawn. Bullied in school, isolated at home, a poor relationship with a strict father. As a child, he showed signs of early dominance and control, and by age 16, he was already fascinated with pain. He watched violent films, he collected occult books, and he began taking notes. After his father died suddenly of a heart attack, Berdella began to spiral. He came out as gay in the 1960s, a dangerous, isolating thing to do back then. And while attending the Kansas City Art Institute, he became obsessed with power. Not just in his art, which included graphic animal slaughter, but in real life. He was arrested at least once for drug possession and would later claim that everything changed when he realized people could disappear without anyone noticing. Berdella eventually dropped out of art school and opened a local shop called Bob's Bizarre Bazaar in Kansas City's Westport district. To most, he was just a quirky, slightly offbeat shop owner. But behind his walls, something darker was growing. Berdella's victims were almost always the same. Young men, often homeless, sometimes sex workers, sometimes just lost souls passing through Kansas City. He offered them food, a place to stay, a couch to crash on. And once they stepped inside, they never came out. Berdella would drug them with tranquilizers, sedatives, or crushed prescription pills. He bound them, gagged them, and then the real horror began. His method of killing wasn't fast. He didn't want it to be. Some victims were held for days, even weeks, in his house. During that time, Berdella recorded everything in handwritten logs: what tools he used, where he applied electricity, when he administered sedatives, how many hours had passed since the last scream. One line read, "Injected Drano into throat. Severe burn, still breathing." Another, no longer able to scream, eyes ruptured. These weren't confessions. These were manuals. He took Polaroids of the process, close-ups, flashlit, blank stares, victims photographed mid-torture, mid-mortem, mid-death. In total, Berdella admitted to 6 murders between 1984 and 1987, but some believe the number is much higher. He had more photos than he had names, more bones than he had explanations. When police finally raided his home in April 1988, they were not prepared. It started when one man, Christopher Bryson, managed to escape from a second-story window. Naked, bleeding, with a dog collar around his neck, he flagged down a meter reader and told him, "He kept me in a cage. He was going to kill me." Police stormed the house. What they found was a serial killer's archive, dozens of Polaroids, sorted and labeled, torture logs, some spanning days, a human skull in the closet, boxes of bones buried in the backyard, bloodstains on the floor and walls. There were also tools, saws, needles, electric devices, restraints. This wasn't impulsive violence. It was structured, deliberate, almost scientific. Berdella showed no panic during the arrest. In fact, he was cooperative, calm, as if this was just a business deal gone bad. After his arrest, Robert Berdella didn't deny what he had done, but he also didn't show remorse. He admitted to 6 murders, but only to avoid the death penalty. He detailed each one with clinical precision. He described the use of electrical shocks to control behavior. He outlined chemical injections designed to paralyze his victims without killing them. When the jury saw the photographs, several people had to leave the courtroom. The images weren't just violent, they were deliberate, almost surgical in their coldness. In 1988, Berdella was sentenced to life in prison without parole. He died just 4 years later of a heart attack in his prison cell. There were no protests, no appeals, no memorials, just a footnote in American serial killer history, almost forgotten. So why does no one talk about Robert Berdella? Maybe because he didn't fit the mold. No charismatic court appearances like Ted Bundy, no national manhunt like Israel Keyes, just a quiet man with a thrift store, a notebook, and an agenda. Experts still debate his motives. Some say it was control. Others believe he was recreating fantasies built from years of trauma, secrecy, and repression. But one thing is certain, he planned everything. His logs, his photos, his tools, they weren't just trophies. They were instructions. Robert Berdella wanted to master suffering, and he nearly got away with it. In a world obsessed with the famous monsters, Berdella reminds us, the most terrifying killers are the ones who go unnoticed.